The video. All right. Hi, anybody that's out there. I'm sure people will come in because today we're going to do banana muffins, banana bread. And since nobody is on there yet, I'm just stalling and talking over Ted's face. But we'll wait. We'll wait, and we got like a half a minute until I said that I would do this. So banana bread, banana muffins, banana bun cake, banana, foo-fee-fi, fofana, banana, banana. It's pretty cool. Now that the little thingies have gone away from the bottom. Hey, Rhonda, how are you? Aren't you loving today? Look at that sunshine out there. Today is the day that the Lord has made, and I'll rejoice and be glad in it, because choosing not to be glad is kind of not a good thing. So we'll rejoice and be glad in it. It's gorgeous out there. It looks a little windy. So anyway, you're going to love this, okay, Rhonda? Because today what we're going to do is I'm doing banana muffins. And I have some really interesting facts about this recipe. Most people have their family banana bread or banana muffin recipe. Jay, you want to turn there we go. What I've done is I've found this really great recipe that you can kind of tweak, and you can make it gluten-free, or you can make it dairy-free. You can make it all kinds of stuff. But what I did is people's old family banana bread or banana muffin recipes, I compared the fat and the sugar content from that old recipe, the one that your grandma used to make, to this newer one that I have found and tweaked. And it's really, really interesting. Okay, so your old family banana bread or banana muffin recipe normally called for like a half a cup of butter. A half a cup of butter is 92 grams of fat. And of course, it's dairy if you're trying to avoid dairy. And it normally had about a cup and a half of sugar, which is 300 grams of sugar in the recipe, not what you would consume, but just in the recipe. This banana muffin recipe that I'm going to walk through right now calls for a quarter cup of oil, which I used extra virgin olive oil, and that only has 54 grams of fat. Now that is a savings of 38 grams of fat right there, before we even talk about sugar. So we're going to save 38 grams of fat to start with. Plus, this recipe that I have only calls for a third a cup of brown sugar, which is only a total of 71 grams of sugar. So that is a savings of 229 grams of sugar, bang, off the dot, gone. So your old family recipe normally called for about a cup and a half of sugar, which is 300 grams of carbs, 300 grams of sugars is what that all equates to. This recipe, 71 grams, and that's total. Now, this recipe makes a serving of 12. So divide your 71 into 12, basically for your 12 muffins, and one muffin of this recipe that I'm going to walk through right now only has 4.5 grams of fat for each muffin, and it has 6 grams of sugar. So it's a huge saving from a caloric standpoint. Now I'm going to walk through the general recipe, and we're going to get this going so I don't keep anybody too long or anything. All right, so this recipe, this lower sugar, lower fat, calls for 2 cups of flour. These are the dry ingredients, and they're all in here. 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then it calls for a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. So I just pre-measured it all. I have it here in this. Of course, I'm going to use my hands because it's the best thing so far. Hey, Leanne! Oh, I'm so glad to see you. It's a work get together or something. We're doing banana bread, or, well, banana muffins. And like I was telling Rhonda, this recipe that I found cuts the fat and the sugar. And it is really an awesome recipe because, like I had told Rhonda, or everybody else too, is that your old family recipe, the one that your grandma used to make, or you probably started even like me. We have this family secret recipe, and it calls for like a cup of butter, or half a cup of butter if you cut it in half, and a cup and a half of sugar. Well, that old family recipe is 92 grams of fat, and it has 300 grams of sugars in it. Well, this lighter recipe, hello Melissa, welcome. Hey Sarah, it's good to see you guys. So we were just talking about this. I'm doing a lighter version of a banana bread, cutting over 38 grams of fat out and cutting over 229 grams of sugar out of this banana muffin. So this lighter version I make is just really cool. Anyway, in the bowl, what we have, and I like to use my hands. I'm kind of that kind of person. Of course, I always wash my hands. I did wash my hands first. So anyway, in here is all the dry ingredients. Again, 2 cups of flour, teaspoon of baking powder, teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now here's the fun stuff. Instead of butter, I'm using oil. Now you can use whatever oil you like to use. You like to use a little liquid coconut oil? Use that. I have extra virgin olive oil. No, it does not make the banana muffins taste like an olive, because I don't like olives, but I use a lot of olive oil. So this is extra virgin cold pressed because I think it's the best. Again, it doesn't taste olivey. But it's only 1/4 cup. So that is only 54 grams of fat in this recipe total for the whole mixture. And this is going to make 12 muffins. Calls for 1 egg. Now I tend to keep room temperature eggs. Again, like I said a couple episodes back, I like to use room temperature eggs when baking because it makes it makes the proteins very relaxed, so you get more volume out of it. It mixes better. And then it's got 3 mashed up bananas. You read those recipes, 3 mashed up bananas. What if I don't have mashed up bananas, but I have mashed up fruit? How much does that equal to? I measured out 3 mashed up bananas, guys. 3 mashed up bananas is 1.25 cups. So you can tweak this if you don't like bananas or you think that bananas are too high in the glycemic indicator for your diet or how you want to eat. 3 cups or 1.25 cups mashed up cherries, chunky applesauce with no sugar added. Let your mind go out there. Do 1.5 cups of mashed up mangoes and see what happens. Mashed up pineapples, see what happens. But we have 3 mashed up bananas in here, 1.25 cups, mashed up fruit basically. And this is just like a liquid meets the dry ingredient type of recipe. 1 egg, it only calls for 1 egg as opposed to your grandma's recipe or your great grandma's recipe that probably called for 2 eggs. So again, we're controlling the fat. And all we're going to do is marry together the liquid and the dry. Real easy. Now what's really fun is, again, you can use all kinds of fun stuff, prunes, plums, anything. Let your imagination go wild. Whatever's floating around. You found some kind of mystery fruit in your freezer, mash it up, make equals 1.25 cups, throw it in these dry ingredients and toss it in the oven and see what happens. But if you are trying to go gluten-free, you want to be a little more paleo, you can do it. It's really just finding out what works and just experimenting. So anyway, this is the straight up recipe that I'm mixing in this bowl right now, and I just want to bring it together. I don't want to over mix it, of course. And there, we're together already. Oh, just a little bit of dry down there. But after we get this in the oven, I made a batch beforehand so that we can try. But the one that I made, It's completely gluten-free, and I can't wait to see how the texture comes out. I've never done it this way before. What I did is, this recipe calls for 2 cups of flour, right? So what I did is I took 1 cup of gluten-free flour and 1 cup of ground almond flour. I don't know how the texture is going to turn out, but we're going to try it once I get these scooped and into the oven. Now this recipe will make 12. I tend to line my things with the paper cups because 1, cleanup's easier, 2, you don't have to dig it out in case it sticks. I don't know. I just find it easier to work with. So we're just going to scoop and make 12. So how's everybody doing? Are you guys having a good time? Are you loving the quarantine? I get to work from home, and I am loving working from home. Right, Rhonda? You've heard me say it. And Rhonda knows because I call her with all my problems. She's awesome. Sweetest person you'd ever want to take your problems to from a help desk standpoint. That is Rhonda, and she's right there on there right now, and she is the sweetest person. And she never says, Dee, you are so dumb. Why don't you get that? Why you broke it now, and I have to fix it. She's always so sweet, even when I'm the one making the mistake. So yes, I adore her. And she's got the cutest grandkids. All right. And see, sometimes this ice cream scoop just does not. There. That's a user error. So that's 1 healthy scoop in each one, and then I just go through and I just kind of, do a little bit more scooping in each one and kind of level them out. So we went by Costco today. We'll do a little chat here while I'm scooping. And I just needed to get some flavored water and wanted to pick up some frozen fruit for smoothies and so forth. The line outside of Costco, you guys, was out the door and all the way to the one side just to get in. Because I think they're trying to control the number of people in the store. Needless to say, I did not go to Costco. We just hit the gas and kept coming home. So I don't know, maybe we'll try again later and see if there's like less line or however that goes. It's hard to say. But it was funny, I've been making this healthier banana muffin recipe now for several years. I actually wrote a full article on this thing. It was hilarious, and I just loved it. Oh my gosh, Heather, how are you? I look at you on Facebook, and it's like it's not the same little girl I babysat a couple times. You're such a full-grown adult. It's awesome. How's your mom? I haven't seen you guys in ages, obviously, since I remember you as like a young lady of 8 years of age, and you are definitely not that. You are a full-grown woman. All right, so this is our much lighter banana muffin recipe. And that's how easy it is. I mean, what did that just take us? 5 minutes to mix that together? Wash your hands. All right. So you put that in, and it takes, the recipe calls for 20 to 25 minutes of baking. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you're doing great. So 350, it says 20 to 25 minutes. Like I've said before, this oven we have in our apartment, it goes a little hotter, so I'm actually going to go 15 minutes and check it. And you know how your oven bakes, so by all means go with what works for you. Okay, so now here's the thing. Again, for all of you that just joined us, what we did is I made banana muffins, and what I've done is I've got this recipe that is much lighter. It has cut out 38 grams of fat. It has cut out 229 grams of sugar. That is huge. This recipe only has a total for the whole batch of 12 muffins, 71 grams of sugar, which only makes it 6 grams of sugar per muffin. That's it. Now, the old-fashioned family passed-down recipe normally has 300 grams of sugar in each in a batch, which, I mean, this is a huge savings of sugar alone. Now, and this is just with brown sugar. I mean, you can try making it with sugar substitutes and other things to lower that sugar even more. Now, again, before we started, I made a batch that is totally gluten-free. It is got, and here it is, our nice, it's just a banana muffin. And what did we learn today? 3 mashed up bananas equal a cup and quarter of mashed up fruit. So throw any mashed up fruit in here and see what happens. Gotta love it. Pastor Stella, this is not the zucchini recipe, but guess what? I am gonna do a show with your favorite zucchini bread because I know how much you love that zucchini bread recipe. So I will share that eventually, but this is the lower fat banana muffin that I make. So this batch here, the special one that we're going to try right now, is totally gluten-free. It has got, for the flour ingredients, what we did is we took 1 cup of gluten-free flour and 1 cup of almond flour so that it is gluten-free. All right, so here we go. We're going to test this texture. All right, Jay's got the whole zip. Say hi, Jay.
Hi.
Okay, so here's the texture on the gluten-free muffin. It looks pretty good. Oh, I love that smell of banana bread, fresh banana bread, especially this one's got cinnamon in it. All right, so here we go. It just has a normal texture like you would expect from a normal muffin. So, it doesn't, sometimes the gluten-free muffins will have a, well, what would you call it, Rhonda? I know you tend to be gluten-free. It's a little bit heavier, a gluten-free muffin, stodgy. I like watching British baking, so yeah, they use the word stodgy. I guess that would be kind of the thing. But this being the half gluten-free flour with almond flour, it's light. It's like a regular texture muffin that you would be expecting. It's not heavy or anything. So bang on! Now we know how to do this gluten-free. Woohoo! Wow, chicky. And it's not like that. It's more of the normal texture that you're expecting. I could have probably baked it an extra 2 minutes. But sometimes too, when you're doing gluten-free, yeah, that's right, Rhonda. Sometimes when you're doing gluten-free and you bake it until it's what they consider done, or you over-bake it a little, it comes out so dry, and I try to avoid that. And this is just about perfect. And it's light, normal texture. So, woohoo! Half gluten-free flour, half almond flour. Try it on one of your favorite recipes and see how it goes. I like that. I'm going to finish that later. That is really good. So, why did I choose banana bread? Banana bread is something everybody relates to. If you kind of work in the ministry of hospitality, if you like people overall, I mean, reach out. Everybody's going through something. Everybody's at a different level. It's so nice to reach out to people. And here with this simple recipe, you've lowered the sugar, you've lowered the fat, you can make it gluten-free, you can make it dairy-free, though it still has an egg in it. So some people kind of walk that, obviously can't be vegan or something because of the egg, but still, it's a great way to bring a baked good in and to reach out to somebody and say, hey, just thinking of you, made some muffins. I'll put them outside your door for social distancing and I'll just go, right? So anyway, this is a very fun recipe and everybody's familiar with banana bread. The one thing that Jay and I used to do when we helped out at the bed and breakfast and when we used to have a lot of people into our house is I would bake up like the zucchini bread that Pastor Stella loves so much, or these muffins, and put them in the freezer. These freeze, once you bake them, they freeze up real well. Put them in a Ziploc kind of airtight thing. Pop them in the freezer. They'll be good, but you'll eat them before they ever even remotely get any kind of freezer burn because they are really good. They make great bread pudding. So here you've got an option where you could take a couple of these muffins, and instead of using bread, you can do a gluten-free bread pudding by using this, crumbling it up and putting it in there. Slice them up, make French toast out of it. You can put some chocolate ganache on it and make it fancy. Throw some chocolate chips in, throw some nuts in there. Mold it to your diet, or if you're baking this to give to somebody and you know that they're doing certain things or not eating certain things in their diet, there you go. Yeah, the options are endless with this kind of thing. It's so much fun, and it's such a blessing to be able to give to other people, and something so simple as a banana bread, and that could touch your neighbor. I have this great lady who's a little bit older, lives across the way from Jay and I, and it touches her every time, even if it's just something as simple as one banana muffin. And it's always perfect timing, and she's so sweet, and she is, I'm actually ministering to her to be able to receive a gift without having to feel guilty and wanting to always do something back. So that is the recipe. Again, the whole total is the 2 cups of flour. Substitute flours that you like. If you're using these ancient grains that are out there, it's perfect. It's awesome because it gives you that whole wheat type of flavor. But if you're using that ancient grain that hasn't been altered at all, my friend Michelle uses a special flour, and it's just, she's very great with it. And this would be wonderful in these muffins. So I have to tell you, thank you guys so much for watching and just being part of this and letting me share a little bit with what's going on in my life and what I like to do, which is cook and eat, obviously, but to cook and to be able to feed people. Jay and I are so blessed to have you guys as friends and to see all you guys. And Heather, it was so awesome to just see you there, to see all of you there. And if you joined it later, you're watching this later, you know, we miss you guys, we love you, and it's just so good. Reach out to your neighbor, make them some of these banana muffins or frozen fruit. We know that 3 mashed bananas equals 1 cup and a quarter of mashed fruit. Throw in some other fruit. Chunky applesauce would be fabulous. Put a little bit more cinnamon and nutmeg in there. You got yourself a fabulous apple muffin. Throw some chocolate chips in there. Nothing better than chocolate chips with bananas. It's delicious. So, hey, Brad, nice to see you. So what we're just, again, banana muffins seemed absolutely so simple, and so why would you talk about banana muffins? Well, we cut the sugar, we cut the fat, and it was simple, quick, and easy. It took us, 7 minutes maybe to do all that. I love to have all the dry ingredients pre-measured, and you're good to go. That's it. Bake for, 20, 25 minutes, hot, and you're all set. So thank you so much. We love you. More importantly, Jesus loves you, and you have yourself a fabulous day. Enjoy the sunshine, and we will see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye, guys.